So welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today you guys probably would have already seen at this point the announcement that I did on my husband and I's anniversary on August the 20th. So I am coming to do my 12-week pregnancy update because I am pregnant. So okay, we're gonna take a step back and I'm gonna bring you all along on the timeline because you guys have been here for the entire journey that happened way quicker than we originally anticipated, right? So if you remember at the end of May, I think it was like May 19th, I remember the date because my goddaughter Phoebe had a recital. So I think it was like either May 18th or May 19th. It was on a Sunday. I came and recorded my TTC update and let you guys know that my husband and I had went to the fertility specialist and he went over everything he had done in regards to my blood work, my husband's blood work, the HSG test they did of me, as well as our genetic testing. So in that review with the specialist, he was pretty much saying that we were IVF candidates because one, my HSG test showed that my right fallopian tube was blocked, and then the blood work they did on me showed that my AMH level, which is like your ovarian reserve, I'm not going into a lot of details because I went into a lot of details on that video about it, but my AMH levels were also really low. So he concluded from, you know, those tests and the tests he did on my husband was fine, that our best course of action, next course of action would be to do IVF, right? So that was at the end of May. So let's fast forward to around Memorial Day. Actually, it was before Memorial Day. So my niece had her graduation the Thursday before Memorial Day. I can't remember the exact, let me look at my calendar and tell you guys the exact date, because I'm going to give you all the juice on how this went down. So the 23rd, May the 23rd, that day I remember feeling like weird cramping and all that stuff, and I was like, something isn't right, something's weird. I left work early to make it up to the other side of town for her graduation. My husband and I were there together. I ended up taking a nap in the car. People who know me know I do not nap, so that was another thing thinking back on, and I was like, okay, this is very weird, but okay, we're gonna move on. But I was like weird, like cramping or whatever at the bottom of my stomach, whatever. So that was happening on that Thursday. That Friday night, I stayed home, normal Friday night. Between Friday and Saturday, I may do like my wash routine and deep conditioning stuff. So that Friday night, I was like washing my hair, deep conditioning. I actually recorded my wash day routine, but I didn't upload it because I didn't like how it came out. So I'm going to do another one. That's an aside. But I was doing my wash day routine, and it got later in the evening, and my husband was coming home. He's like, oh, I'm on my way home. I think I'm going to stop by Taco Bell. Do you want anything to eat? I thought about it. I was like, yeah, bring me some Taco Bell. Yeah, I cannot tell you when the last time I ate Taco Bell. Warning sign number one, this is wasn't quite normal, right? So I was like, you know, I didn't think about it at that time. But me and my husband a few weeks later laughed about it, because he was like, even when you said it, he was like, I was on the phone like, really? She want Taco Bell? Because normally I never eat Taco Bell. He'll go, and sometimes when we have my stepkids, they'll go. But I will never eat Taco Bell. Like I won't say I've never eaten Taco Bell. I ate Taco Bell a lot when I was younger, but I haven't had it in a while. So ate Taco Bell like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, because that's normal and everything, and that was fine. So I went to sleep. Saturday, the next morning, woke up, again, weird cramping. My period was due that Sunday. My period, like I've told you guys before, is like clockwork. It don't miss a beat. It does not. I've never missed a period when it's supposed to come. None of that. Only when I was on birth control with my doctor, where, you know, they try to force those, you know, whatever periods on you. But like my normal cycle, period's always been very routine. So Saturday, woke up with weird cramping, but the thing is, I never got cramps before my period. Like I don't generally get cramping before my period. Usually my period just ease on in, and then like day 1 and 2 I may have a little cramping here and there, nothing crazy, but that's about it. So something Saturday morning told me, and because we've been trying to conceive, I had like the regular, and I'll link them down below. I had the pack of pregnancy test and ovulation test kit that you can get together off Amazon. I had purchased that like months ago, maybe back in December or January. So I was like, okay, I was about to get in the shower. Let me just see, you know, what's going on. It was a Saturday morning. I was about to go do my normal Saturday errands. Peed on it, went and got in the shower, came out, looked at it, and I was like, wait, there's like a faint line. And I've never gotten like a positive pregnancy test, but I've always heard that even if the second line is faint, if it's a line, you're pregnant, right? So I come in the bathroom and I show my husband, and he was like, yeah, because, you know, he has 3 kids. So he's like, yeah, if you have a faint line, you're pregnant, right? So I'm still in like disbelief because it's faint. After everything that we've been through, everything we've been told, you know, I'm still in that state of like shock and disbelief, right? So I called my best friend on my way to Target to do my errands, and I told her, and she's all excited. She's like, yeah, if it's faint, then, you know, that's a positive. That's a positive. She was like, but this is what you do. My best friend is currently pregnant again, and she had my godson killed 9 months ago, so she's well versed in it. She's like, look, this is what you do. You go to the store and get one of those clear blue digital tests. Take that test, and if it pops up pregnant, then all the doubts should go out of your mind, right? So that's what I did, and literally the one that I just held up to the camera, this is the one I took that day. So I came back home, took the clear blue digital test, and sure enough, it popped up pregnant, clear as day. When I say how much shock I was in, guys, I didn't cry. That was not my first reaction, and I don't know, I haven't really cried over the news. It's still very, y'all may think this is very weird, but I feel like, and I kept telling my mom and my best friend this, it's almost like I'm having an out-of-body experience, right? So it's like, it's happening, and I'm like, no, I'm pregnant, but it's like still very, very shocking to me or whatever. But as the weeks have gone by, I've gotten off, like that hasn't been the case as much. But my most recent doctor visit, I actually asked my doctor, is I like, if it's okay to not feel pregnant sometimes? She was like, yeah, but I'll get into more details about that. So yeah, so that's what happened. That Saturday took it positive, I was pregnant. So I was still like wondering, okay, is this still legit? You know, maybe I'm going to get my period on Sunday. When Sunday come, Sunday came, no period. Monday came, no period. Tuesday came, no period. I was like, okay, your period is not coming. So I ended up calling the fertility specialist who I was seeing at the time and kind of alerted them. And they were like, okay, well, since you've already been in our care, we've already been doing blood work and testing on you, why don't we bring you in for an early monitoring blood test? And they call it a beta test. So they want to see, one, if my HSG level, not my HSG, my HCG level, so that is the hormone that you can detect in your blood. It tells you if you're pregnant, if that was high, and if my progesterone level was high. So I went on that Wednesday morning to get that test done, and then left. Y'all, I'm telling you, those were the longest, what, 4 or 5 hours for them to call me back with the results. But the nurse called me back, she's like, congratulations, we have great news, you're pregnant. I was like, ah! So I was like really, really excited. So then, because that was the beta, they were like, okay, we'll bring you back in Friday to see if it's doubling, because you're supposed to, your HCG level should be doubling, you know, early in your pregnancy or whatever. So I went in on Friday, another early morning blood draw. Again, had to wait until the afternoon for them to call me with the results. She called me and said that I was still pregnant. And I know this may sound weird to some of you guys, and I think it's just what I've been through in the road to get here. It's just a lot of doubt has been in my mind, has been told to me, but I have no disbelief, but this ain't nothing but God. I don't know who you believe in, who you pray to every night, but the way my situation is set up, nobody can tell me otherwise. I am 100% convinced that this is all the workings of God, because if you go back, and I'm gonna play those clips, go back and if you go back and listen to what I said about and over myself, I said, if I came out that surgery with my uterus God was telling me, okay, you're gonna have a baby. The next step is hopefully getting pregnant. Maybe if I come back in June, I'll have an update to say, guess what, guys? I'm pregnant. I don't know. That would be awesome if that is the case. I mean, hopefully, you know, everything works out. I'm prayerful in the fact that something good would come out of this. Again, I always say that my story is quite interesting and everything that happened, and I don't believe that things happen the way it happened for me not to be able to conceive. So I'll keep you guys updated, but for now, that's it. I didn't believe that I would be able to keep my uterus and then he would disappoint me. And when I say God has shown up and shown out, he has done just that. So I will do another video about like some of the additional things I did in detail that could probably help somebody else out there who wants to get pregnant after a very invasive myomectomy surgery. I'm going to do a separate video on the things that I was doing, the supplements I was taking, because I do think that may have helped as well. But overall, this wasn't nothing but the Lord. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't believe it to be nothing else. And I said again, if you have been looking at my channel, you know that I am a very strong Christian. You know what my faith is. And I have been talking and speaking over myself in this whole process. I don't believe there was no one but him. I don't. And I will also say my transparency and letting other people know exactly what I had going on also helped, because after we started telling people, when we got to that point, everyone was like, I was praying for you, I was praying for you, I was praying for you. And guys, that's like the one thing that really has brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, he heard you. So I appreciate anybody out there who have been looking at my videos, who have been following me, and who lifted me up in prayer, because God heard you guys. And I believe that 100%. So, gosh, I was supposed to cry in this video. Okay, so now I've got myself together a little bit. So yeah, I firmly believe that, and I know that's another aside, but I'll continue on with the process. So that Friday, I went and got the second test that kind of was the benchmark to the beta test, and it showed that my results were positive and my HCG levels were doubling and all of that. So then they were like, okay, since this test is good, we won't bring you back in until the following Friday to do another blood test. So I went back that following Friday, did another blood test, everything looked good, results came back positive. So then after that, they were like, okay, we'll bring you back the next Friday, or no, maybe it was the next Wednesday, and that will be your first ultrasound. So I had my first ultrasound at 6 weeks, like 6 weeks, 3 days. And the way that my cycle is set up, so you guys know that I've said before, I have a 22 to 24 day cycle. So my window for conception, or when I have my cycle from period to period, is like 3 weeks. So essentially, I don't know how to count, how your pregnancy count, but like the first week of conception for me was really like 2 weeks, if that makes sense. So when I went in for that ultrasound, I was 6 weeks, 5 days. The lady was going based on just my last menstrual cycle, and she was like, oh well, based on your last menstrual cycle, you're 5 weeks. And I was like, so she was like, we may not be able to see much because of that. And I was like, no, I'm 6 weeks. And she was like looking at me weird. Sure enough, when she did the ultrasound, and you know, they measure the size of the little, I said it was like a little bean at that side. At that time, they measured the size or the length of it. And she was like, oh yeah, you're right, you're 6 weeks. So the first ultrasound I had was at 6 weeks. I didn't have to go back until I had my 9-week ultrasound on June the 28th. And then after, when I had my 9-week ultrasound on June the 28th, the doctor released me from the fertility clinic, and he was like, okay, well, now that we've gotten you through like this first batch, which is like the roughest batch for people who have like fertility issues, he was saying now you can move on toward your normal OB. So I had my first visit with my normal OB on July the 17th. At that time I was 12 weeks, so that was just that was the last Wednesday. And then I went in for my ultrasound with them on July the 24th, which was just this past week. So I'm officially in my second trimester. Yeah, that was so important for me, because I didn't want to, another thing that I've learned about this process is I want to do things on my time, right? So a lot of people you know, tell people at different times, tell people really early, or tell people, you know, whenever. I just wanted to make sure that everything was fine and that we've gone through, you know, all the testing and everything to make sure it was fine before I shared that news. Just because, as I've said before in my previous videos, I'm just one of those people who I need to go through stuff first before I let the world know what's going on necessarily. And by the world, I mean social media. Like my family and close friends, okay, yeah, they know. But as far as like just announcing it to everyone, like the public, I just would prefer to know exactly all of the ins and outs before I come forth, just because it's just a little easier, and because I have the right to control my narrative, right? So I have the right to provide people with information on me as I see fit, and that's just always been my view on things in this world of social media, in the way to keep as much privacy as I think is possible. That's just the way I want to do things going forward. So yes, I am in my second trimester of pregnancy. So now I'm going to give you guys a run through of my symptoms that I've had during these 12 weeks. And that's why I wanted to film this video now, because I probably won't release this video until after our announcement. So we're announcing on August the 20th on social media, and I probably won't release this video until a week after that. So you probably won't see this until the end of August, but I wanted to go ahead and do this video while I had my symptoms still fresh in my mind, and it's kind of easier for me because, let me tell y'all, pregnancy brain is real. So first 12 weeks. So I've told you guys that initially that week of like implantation, I had like slight cramping and all of that. That's what that was when I said on that Thursday, and then that Saturday morning before I took the pregnancy test was kind of like what I was feeling. After that, I mean, I still had a little discomfort here and there. Like I could just feel, you know, like not like full-blown crazy cramps, but just like slight cramping here and there, you know, off and on. And then week 8 and 9 were perhaps the most tired. Is that a word, tiredness? I was perhaps the most tired that I've ever been in my life during those 2 weeks. I told you guys that I went to Vegas, and I think it was like in between week 8 and week 9 I was in Vegas. I slept in between my sessions, and when like I was going to like company my my sessions and all that stuff, I was in the hotel room sleeping. My friends were out, you know, trying to do, you know, trying to see Vegas and everything. I was asleep. That's what I was doing. And I'm telling y'all, pregnancy tiredness is like no tiredness that I've ever experienced. And I'm not the best sleeper. So that was the situation. One day I actually debated telling my boss early so that I can go home and go to sleep. And this is real life. I'm telling you, no lies. Like, I was tired from when I woke up, got to bed in the morning, and then till I went to sleep at night. It was like an all-day tiredness. It's crazy. I've also had waves of nausea. So where I feel nauseous, I have not thrown up or anything, but I've had moments where I've kind of felt nauseous. My best friend told me a good tip for that is to eat. And so she said what she used to do is she used to keep a thing of saltine crackers on her nightstand. So when she woke up in the morning, she would eat saltine crackers and drink water, and that would help her with her nausea. And so that's what I did. Anytime I felt nauseous, I would eat. Like I would snack on like some crackers, or I would, you know, drink water or eat some nuts or something. Like I was always kind of like munching on something, and I found that as long as I was doing that, I didn't feel nauseous. So that's how I got through those symptoms. I know some women have it, you know, worse than that. I've been fortunate so far in my pregnancy not to have it that bad off at all, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I don't take that for granted, because I know some people have it really hard. So tiredness, waves of nausea, why can't I say that word, nauseousness, you know what I mean, feeling like I gotta throw up. And then another thing is extra saliva. And I know that may be too TMI for some people, but it's just like my mouth is just, you know, it hasn't been bad where I know some women say they have to use a spit cup and they're spitting in the cup and stuff. It hasn't been that bad for me, but I do notice extra-ness in that realm going on, and it's just annoying because I have to swallow a lot more than normal. So that's been one of my symptoms as well. Lower back pain here and there, just discomfort, pressure, also pressure at the bottom. I did have a little spotting here and there. When they did the ultrasound, at my first ultrasound, they saw a bleed spot, which they said is completely normal. Sometimes when they see it in the ultrasound that early on, the body reabsorbs it, or it may come out in spotting. So I did have a little spotting because of that. Nothing crazy, but every time I would get it, of course I would freak out. The first time I got it, right before I went to Vegas, I did call my doctor, and they told me a good rule of thumb is to see if you're soaking a pad. If you're soaking more than one pad in an hour, then that is why am I losing my words? That is a warning. That's a sign of something significant. If you're not doing that, then you shouldn't worry about it. And when I say mine wasn't significant, it was like if I wiped, I would see spotting, but nothing whereas I even needed to put a panty liner on or anything. So, but a little spotting here and there, and I do still experience it. Like the other night, Saturday night, I had a little spotting. Whenever I do, I just rest because I feel like it's my body telling me I'm doing too much, and to sit my tail down. So that's exactly what I do. I know some people like my mom and like aunts and cousins worry about me because I'm such a busybody. I'm very strong-willed, but I can't say in this pregnancy I have been listening to my body. I have been resting a lot. I have been sitting my tail down a lot because I don't want to jeopardize it in anywhere. If there's anything I can do to make sure that this pregnancy is going as easily and smoothly as I can, I'm gonna do it. So I've been fortunate enough to have kind of like a chill lifestyle. I don't have much going on, so I've just been hanging out, chilling in the house. And I think that's been really good for me. Let's see, what other symptoms have I had? I think that's it. I told you, spotting here and there, the nausea, the tiredness, the extra saliva, the pressure, like just at the bottom, and I told my doctor about that, and he was like, that's completely normal. Okay, so yeah, I think that's been most of my symptoms, and kind of like the things I've been doing to alleviate them. I have not had any strong cravings lately or anything abnormal yet. People keep asking me, do you have cravings yet? And I was like, no, but I'm still pretty early in my opinion in my pregnancy. I'm only 1/3 of the way through, so I have to tell them like I got a long road ahead of me. I'm sure I may have cravings, you know, sooner or later, but I haven't experienced any of that yet. What else? I think that's it. I mean, as far as like what I've been eating and how my appetite has been, I've been eating pretty normal. It's not more, like I can't say that I've been eating more than normal. And I'm also kind of cautious about that because I don't want to gain too much weight where I look back at the end of my pregnancy, because I feel like you gain a lot at the end of your pregnancy. So I'm really just trying to monitor what, you know, I'm gaining now, because honestly, I don't have to lose an obscene amount of weight after I have this baby. And I know that's not anything to really worry about, but it's still kind of there, and I'm gonna be honest. So my first OB visit, like I said, was July the 17th, and I spoke with her. That was like my first time going to this doctor, basically due to the hospital I want to deliver out of. And the experience was pleasant. My only thing is, and this is what I'm only mentioning this because I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about how you have to be your own medical advocate. So I went in armed with all of my prior medical history paperwork, right? So they tell you to bring all of that. So I brought all of my papers from the fertility specialist and all of my papers from Kaiser based on my surgery last year. And so I told her about the surgery I had, that there was quite a few fibroids removed. She fully examined me in that first OB appointment. They do almost like your annual exam, like what you would do when you go to your GYN. So she did a breast exam, she did a pap smear, she did a pelvic exam, and then the ultrasound tech that day was out, so she just took out the little heart monitor Doppler and did that over my stomach to just see the heart, you know, to hear the heartbeat. And that was actually my first time hearing the heartbeat. How can I gloss over that part? So when I was going to my fertility specialist, they have some kind of rule where they don't let you hear the heartbeat when you're doing a vaginal ultrasound. So my ultrasound I got at 6 weeks, and my ultrasound I got at 9 weeks, I did not get to hear my baby heartbeat. I didn't hear the heartbeat until my 12-week ultrasound when I went to the OB. So that was really exciting. And the heart rate was 155 beats per minute. My husband is adamant that this child is a girl. Like, when I say adamant, like adamant. So there's this old wives' tale that if the heartbeat is very high, and I think very high being like 50 or above, then it's a girl, and if it's like 40 or below, I mean 50 or below, it's a boy. So he's like, it's a girl, I told you, it's 155, it's a girl, it's a girl. I'm like, okay, dude. But anyway. So yeah, so that happened during that ultrasound, and I was very excited to hear it. It was weird because this was the first ultrasound I got to do over my stomach and not the vaginal one. And so she was kind of like feeling around for it. Not ultrasound, but it was just a Doppler thingy. And then she finally found it, and she's like, oh, there it is. And I was like, oh. And it was like one of those things kind of shocking because it happened so quickly. But yeah, I got to hear the heartbeat for the first time in that appointment. And then she asked me if I had questions, and I just had some general questions. She wanted to do another ultrasound on me because of the bleed spot and to see if it had gone. So I had to come back that next week, which was this past Wednesday, to get that done. So when I went this past Wednesday, all we did was to ultrasound, and I would actually insert footage from that visit because I had my husband record it for you guys. Inserting footage now.
Oh, we on part is the heartbeat.
Is that still a bleed spot? Okay.
Well, the doctor will read it.
Oh.
Did you have a bleeding specialist?
I did.
I think it's just vessels.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see when it lights up. You can see the baby's arms. You can even see the fingers.
Oh wow, you can. You can see like the hands.
What is the heart rate at?
147. Oh, it's lower.
Ma'am, they say if your heart rate is high, it's a girl. If it's a low, if it's low,
I'm proving all that stuff wrong. So
yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
We'll find out next week. Well, we won't find out next week, but we'll do the testing.
I think it's a girl.
It's still recording.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to stop.
So yeah, so you can see in that footage that my husband is talking as if the baby, you know, is a girl. And the ultrasound tech is telling him the whole heartbeat thing. She's disproven that myth time and time again, so that's not a myth. And then I had asked her about the bleed spot, and she didn't see it. So I waited until I got into the office with the doctor and asked the doctor, and she said that it was gone. So remember I told you that in my first visit with the doctor, which was just a week ago, I told her about my surgery, right? Okay. So then I was talking to my husband. I was like, oh, I didn't tell her that I got a blood transfusion during my surgery. That could probably be important information. But it didn't dawn on me as if you read my medical records, you would see that I got a blood transfusion. So I'm talking with her, and I told her, I was like, oh, by the way, doctor, I didn't tell you in the last visit that I had a blood transfusion at my surgery. And she was like, did you have a blood transfusion during your surgery or after? And I told her both, because I did. And so she was like, oh, okay, well, if you had it after, then that could cause severe scar tissue and all of this because of internal bleeding and all of that. So I was like, oh, okay. And then she was saying, then she started asking me a series of questions about my surgery. How many fibroids were removed? Did I have, what kind of incision did I have? Mind you, she just checked me a week ago. But I realized that doctors have a lot of patience, and I'm like, did she not take notes during that visit or something? So, you know, I told her I had the vertical incision, and when we did the visit in, what am I saying? When we did the visit with her, when I did the visit with her a week ago, she was saying, oh, well, because you had a C-section, you'll have, because you had that surgery, you'll have to have a C-section at 39 weeks. Then this past Wednesday, after I was telling her everything, she was like, oh, okay, well, you'll have to have a C-section at 37 weeks. So I say all that to say, I think I'm going to actually get a midwife, because I want somebody in the delivery room with me who's going to advocate for me, who's going to know what's going on with my body and advocate and make sure they're doing what they need to do for me, because the doctors are going to do what they need to do for the baby first, which I 100% agree with. Do what you need to do for my baby first, do that. But in the same regard, I want someone there who can advocate for me to make sure they're doing what they need to do for me as well. So I think I'm gonna get a midwife. Let's see what else. So telling family and friends. So I had like my close friends and family members who found out fairly early, I would say. And then I had some friends and family members that we did not start telling until after I knew everything was in the clear and the first trimester was done, and first trimester was done, and I was in the second trimester. I've kind of already gone over this subject a little earlier about being in charge of your own narrative, and I wanted to lay low, because I felt, and I have been finding, that when you're pregnant, so many people put their own opinions and thoughts on you that, and I wish I could wear a sign, people have generalized anxiety disorder. That's not necessarily the best for somebody with anxiety, right? So because of that, I have been hesitant to tell people, because honestly, I don't want to hear your story about, or your traumatic pregnancy story, or your traumatic, oh, I had this happen or that happened. Not because I don't care, but because I will internalize that and I automatically think that I'm having symptoms related to that, which I know sounds crazy, but that's just how my disorder works. And because of that, I've been very reluctant to share the news with people, because I'm just trying to be here. I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to listen to my body. I'm trying to get close to my child. There's so much that goes into being pregnant, so many emotions, that I'm being very guarded in my space. And to some people that may come off as being like standoffish or being, you know, weird or whatever, but I mean, as older I get, the more intentional I get about regarding my energy and the people I have in it. Because I tell you, out there in the real world, it's hard enough without the extraness that comes with everybody else's emotions. And if you're not like a close family member, close friend, I honestly am just kind of tapering what everyone is telling me, because you get so much information thrown at you when somebody finds out you're pregnant. And I'm honestly like, can I just experience this on my own? Everybody's body is different. Everybody's pregnancy is different. No two people will have the same pregnancy. So it's just like, I'm wishing people would be just more mindful. And I don't think they're doing it out of a place of intention of, you know, inflicting these emotions in me. I really do think it's just people's way of trying to connect with you. But in the same regard, it's like, I kind of don't want to know that, you know. Like, can we have this conversation in like 7 months after the baby is here and after I've delivered? It'll be good. So, and that, because of that reason, I've kind of been slow in telling folks and, you know, sharing the news. And honestly, at some point, I'm like, at work, people can just find out organically. You can see me and be like, oh, are you pregnant? Yes. Like, I don't want to have to go making this big announcement over and over again. So based on my ultrasounds and everything, I am due in January. I'm not going to say the exact date, because again, I can have some sense of privacy. So yeah, we'll see how everything goes. So far so good, which I am more than grateful for. And I'm just trying to be present. I've been journaling and talking with my therapist, because I did start it back seeing my therapist because of like my anxiousness that came with the pregnancy. If you have not seen my video, I did a video about my generalized anxiety disorder. Please go check it out. And speaking with my therapist, she's kind of really helped me kind of understand the importance of doing what's right for me, and in turn which will be right for the baby, and just trying to be more aware of my thoughts. So I'm really excited that I started seeing her, and kind of feel like I'm on a better path with my anxiety, because I felt like it was firing a bit there. And with getting the news about the pregnancy, I wanted to be very, very excited. I wanted to be very happy, but then there was still this doubt in my head because of all of the stuff the doctors had told me, my surgery last year. So I got help. And I say that to say that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So I'm glad I'm seeing her again, and I'm able to talk with someone about that. And I think that's it. I think so. So yeah, I wanted to come on and update you guys. This will be my first trimester update. I think going forward, I'm going to do these updates maybe every 4 weeks or so. I don't want to just bombard you guys with all of this content, but that's what's going on with my life right now. So that's kind of like what's going to be on my YouTube right now, just as a result. But I do want to share and document this journey, and I felt like since you guys have been along, it's only natural to include you guys in the journey. So thank you so much. As I said earlier before I teared up, if you said a prayer, a thought, a moment of silence, whatever, in my case, in regards to my condition, I thank you so much, because God heard your prayers, and I'm so very appreciative. So thank you guys for watching. Bye. Oh, I'm gonna do a bump update for you. This has been a situation. So this is my stomach. This is me at 13 weeks, 4 days. This is it from the front. Mind you, I just ate dinner. I should have probably did this in the morning, because they say you get a lot of bloat as the day go on. So I don't know if I'm like showing. I feel like I'm in that between that phase where like you don't know if someone is pregnant and they've just gained weight. So this is me like with clothes on. You can kind of see something there, but I'm not exactly small, so it doesn't look terribly disproportionate to the rest of my body. So yeah, bye. I'm signing off for real now.